I'm Jenny Gage, and this is Life Take 2. Hi guys, I hope you don't mind, but today I need to take a little bit of a break from the hard-hitting and labor-intensive content that I've been putting out the past couple of weeks. So today I just wrote an essay. Not a lot of people realize this about me, but I really don't consider myself a content creator or an influencer. I'm a writer. Writing is my thing. It's literally my favorite thing in the world. And whenever anything goes wrong, either in my own personal life or in the world at large, then I whip out my phone or my laptop or my little notepad, and I'll write a poem or an essay to try to digest the experience. I do want to say that yes, this essay is absolutely a political statement, and it is meant to be literal. I'm not being satirical. I know I do a lot of sarcastic poetry and essays. This is not one of those. This was my 4 a.m. way of processing through the explosive backlash towards innocent people who did nothing in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination and the current state of our nation. The title of this essay is White Men Can't Feel. And yes, it is a nod to the very cool basketball movie back from when I was a kid in high school, White Men Can't Jump. So, White Men Can't Feel, a Feminist Manifesto. You know at a magic show how the magician will trick you to look over here while he does something over there? It's called smoke and mirrors, of course. I knew an illusionist once, and he taught me a few tricks. Taught me to keep the focus on the edge of my sleeve so they wouldn't see what I was doing with a quarter under my left thumb. Magic words and wave of a wand was all I needed to distract my brother and sisters just long enough to move the quarter. I didn't even have to say, look over there, to get them to look. I just smiled and waved the wand and tugged the sleeve of my shirt, abracadabra. And that was it. 12 days ago, for the first time in many, many years, the voices of women spoke. Girls held captive by a madman and his mad friends were allowed to float in the wind and touch our ears for half a minute. And for that 1 minute, Donald Trump's smoke and mirrors failed. He flew planes overhead, waved his wand, pointed his finger at the new ballroom and new jobs, but our eyes were on the survivors. Our ears soaked up their words. But then, tragedy. A kid with a glitch in his brain loaded a gun and it was done. A white man's blood soaked a Utah sidewalk in the land of the whitest of men. And the white man's nation erupted in outrage. Charlie was a dad, a husband, a man of integrity, attacked while preaching the skewed words of his white God. America lowered flags and shed tears and flocked to the white man's church and posted angry rants on their Facebook pages and live streams. White senators decried sympathizers as worse than Stalin from the floor of the white man's Senate. The white widow spat words of war through clenched teeth like a battle cry, ensuring her husband's legacy, the inheritance of hateful church-wrapped anger born of privilege and wealth, carried on. And the battle cry spread like my uncle's fast metastasizing melanoma that killed him in 2 months. Killing our nation, our neighborliness, our supposedly unholy empathy for leftists and liberals and anyone who couldn't produce a tear for Charlie. Make no mistake, though, this isn't a new schism, isn't the first time churches had been filled with white men and their white wives with their modest designer dresses and Gucci bags. No, that's what happens when a white man dies. They raise their voices and raise their wallets and raise their prayers to the white God who favors the white brothers. Amen, amen. But if their white God were still alive today, he would tell them, America, we have a problem. And it's not a problem of danger, but a problem of anger. White men can't feel. They can stare at a screen with the victims of a creep and reach their hands into the bag of Doritos and tip the beer toward their lips and burp in boredom. They've never been held down by their hair and attacked by their prom date, their panties shredded and tossed out the truck window. They can hear the names of the children whose bodies lay on the floor of the church school chapel and yawn because they are strong and defensible and can't relate to the helplessness of babies in a chapel in a bullet storm. They can walk the dog and see the ice van roll down their street and feel nothing because nobody has ever suggested, not for a minute, that the color of their skin is anything but perfect and holy. They can't imagine feeling dirty and lesser because of skin, eyes, hair, their accent. They are only capable of feeling anything when it hits close to home, when it resonates with them. And the only feel they have is anger and outrage. Outrage for the white brother who is attacked for simply being one of them. Their sympathy is not with the victims, it's with the perps because they get it. We've all done something creepy. White God washed that away with his own blood. It doesn't matter anymore. Amen, amen. They're not going to judge another brother for having an off day. Empathy is toxic anyway. Stiff upper lip. Never let them see you cry. Be a man. And all these real men, the white pastors and accountants and dentists, flooded the churches this Sunday with the only emotion they have in their wheelhouse, anger, because another brother lost his life and it hit close enough to home to rouse a response. But we should all pay attention to three things. First, the flag didn't fly low for the women and girls. We didn't observe silence for them and never have and never will. Not for Black people, not for my immigrant neighbors from Syria. 48,000 people are killed by bullets in America a year. They don't cry over that. They can't. This type of outcry is only drawn from the throats of white men when one of theirs goes down. Amen, amen. They all cry out. Second, this is not a war on Jesus or his church. It's not a war against left or right. It's a class war. Rich white men covering and protecting their fortunes. The masters know what we haven't figured out yet, that the ratio on this plantation here doesn't favor them. It's tens of millions of us to one of them. The white men I heard scream the loudest run massive real estate companies, architecture firms, ice cream shops, investment funds, and podcasts. They drove home from church in their Corvettes and Teslas, wiping their tears on the sleeves of their starched shirt cuffs. The tension in our nation, a nation that chose as its symbolism a flag streaked with blood, the tension is a result of the agonizing fear of white men losing power and desperately clutching at control. It's a race war, a class war, a holy war, a territorial war, a war against the gay, the immigrants, and women who don't want their Mrs. degree and don't want one of them and don't want to make their babies. A war on universal health care and the Department of Education and the victims of intergenerational poverty who sleep in our city parks in worn-out tents doing drugs to numb the pain of not having a home. Number 3, he made us all look. The Wizard of DC. And no, I don't think he meant to. It's like someone sneezed at the magic show and we all turned our heads long enough for the crappy birthday party magician to stuff the rabbit back into the hat. Voila! Epstein who? Smoke and mirrors, and we all fell for the trick, and all we care about is the sneeze from the kid in the second row. And maybe the magician uses that himself the next time he's hired for a birthday party, slipping a kid in the audience $5 bill. Achoo! Got you! I mean, bless you! Ladies, this is all on us now. On our soft hands tipped with our autumn-themed acrylics. The white men hurt our babies and sisters and neighbors and us, and still we submit and smile, submit and smile. Stop it. It's time for a revolution of women, a war of compassion and affection. Hug your sons as much as you hug your daughters. Retrain your husbands. Learn the word boundary. Say no. Get your political science degree and run for office instead of running the vacuum. Email your senators, then vote them all out. Muster all your big sister energy to shush those tantrum-prone baby brothers. Form an army of women who are so deeply connected with neighbors and coworkers that they cannot be terrorized. Make money instead of making babies. Demand empathy at school, at work, on TV shows, and at the grocery store, and in the halls of power. Then live it out yourself aggressively. Toxic empathy bleeding across America. And change the world. I don't even have an outro for this video, but I don't want to just leave you hanging. I think I'll end with this. There is absolute power in peaceful resistance. It is what the Rabbi Yeshua of the Christian New Testament taught. And I think that it is absolutely time right now for a war. Let's unleash all the toxic empathy on the people around us that we possibly can. I'll go ahead and post this for free to my Substack. I'll put that link in the description. And I'll be going live 2 nights from now with a special guest. And stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe so you get those notifications. Thanks, guys.